Roland Wolf, a lot of successful results of late. He finished third in the $25,000 WPT final event at the Bellagio. He's the biggest money winner from the UK.
Yeah, I mean, Roland would not only be considered the informed player at this table, but one of the informed players in the world right now. He had a pretty good World Series, 2 final tables as well, and he's been hot to trot.
Everything going Roland Wolf's way the last couple years. He wrote about poker for a long time before becoming a professional himself. And you can read books about poker, or you can watch it each week here at the World Poker Open and learn a lot from these guys.
It was a shutout bet before the flop in the small blind from DeWolf, and Little has called with probably the best result he could have found in Roland's hand, which is a straight race, and Little will be in or out on the basis
of the flop, turn, and river. He's going to need a 10 or a jack.
Certainly does. Hasn't found it now, though not a terrible flop, because a 7 would now get him out as well, counterfeiting Roland's pair. And Little is on the edge here.
A lot of scare cards for Roland Wolf. Attention. On the turn, it is 5. Now a 5 even would counterfeit him. This is the problem with the small pair Jesse made. But anything else, a 5, then a 5-7, a jack or 10. As Roland is doing the commentating for me, let's just look at the river then and see what happens.
Got the outs counted. Jack on the river.
Cool.
And the winner's club will be going mad about that one. Brian Little, the luck of the Irish on the 7th card.
Well, just too many bullets to avoid, too many outs, as you said, Jesse May, for Brian Little to miss. And he deserves that, Pod. He's been sitting there very patiently, not really getting many hands to play.
I think it may be his first pot, but it was a heck of a stand he made, calling 28,000 with the jack 10.
Not with 7-4 suit.
Pass.
Look at this.
Raised or raised.
I mean, there is only one thing that Tony Bloom loves more than having chips, which is having them in the center. And he's stuck them straight in.
He certainly has. Well, Tony Bloom has walked into Tim Flanders' pocket rockets.
Cool.
The timing needs adjusting.
Well, that is the exact call. Bloom's timing is way off, and he will be the first surprise exit here many times out of 10, Kenneth James.
Well, we don't know that. Yeah, like you said, many times out of 10, but we still have 5 cards to come across the middle. He's going to look to make a straight or a flush. He does have crackers, as we call them, because these are 2 cards that definitely have potential to crack the aces. You can see he does have a 20% chance. I know when you have a 20% chance of rain here in London, it comes a lot more often than that. Let's see if it does for Tony Bloom.
Yeah, he had 44,000 and just decided to try and pick up those 9, but he's run into the bullets. And now needs to pray. And those prayers are going to go unanswered because the 3 aces on the flop is going to pretty much be a quick walk down Broadway here for Bloom unless it comes runner straight.
Not drawing dead, but drawing very slim. And now he is drawing dead, is Tony Bloom. He says, see you later. Commiserations to Tony Bloom. Just not in the right spot or at the right time tonight, but a hell of a player.
Timing's everything.
Yeah, it just went the wrong way. It just nothing seemed to work for Tony Bloom, and the Lizard, one of the top players in this format in this game, will not be joining his brother in the semis. Tony Bloom, first man out the door. Tony, it just seemed like you were banging your head against the wall all night.
Yeah, it was a real struggle tonight. I mean, every time I had half a hand, I was pushing a little bit and seeing a lot of strength behind me and having to pass some hands, and you get short chipped quite early in this thing when that happens.
But when you don't get the result, when you do make good decisions, how does that make you feel, and how do you deal with that?
It doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I'm here to try and win. I do my best, and then you go home and there's another one coming up sometime soon. So for me, the most important thing is trying to make the best decisions all the time and doing the best thing to win. And some days it's just not going to happen, whatever you do.
The ultimate poker catchphrase has to be know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. And it's the sign of a great player to be able to let those hands go when you know you're beat. Tony Bloom has really shown that characteristic tonight, making some massive laydowns, but when you run into pocket rockets, there's no way out except the door.
Pass. Call.
Brian
Pass.
Little coming in now with a flat call with the ace-9 of spades.
Yeah.
Raise.
He's almost playing with a second life now because of the double up, but would you like to see him raise that hand, Kenneth?
At least put it in maybe double
Check.
the amount of the big blind, not to give them a free flop. Anyway, it's worked out for him. He's got top pair. Neither player has anything, so a quick bet here and probably 2 quick folds will serve the same purpose. But actually, Tim Flanders has got other things in mind.
Raise.
He's going to throw a curveball at me,
30,000 more.
and I guess he thinks that Brian Little is just making a standard continuation bet and is putting him to the test to try and steal this pot away. And the reason he's doing that, he's thinking that Brian Little is stealing, and so that he will re-steal. So that's what his move is now, that he's implementing the re-steal, but he will not do it effectively.
Well, look
I
at
don't
Little.
believe.
It's like he's gone from what can't I beat to what can I beat. And there isn't much he can beat but a bluff.
You raised all in.
But that never stops Brian Little. What
Pass.
a decision he made, or was that automatic based on his stack
Well,
size?
based on his stack size, you're exactly right, Jesse May. It is automatic. It was basically a play that didn't work from Tim Flanders. And you know, when you're out there playing poker, you're playing with imperfect information. So you try these plays, you try some creativity at different times. Some things work and some things don't. A lot working for Tim Flanders tonight, but not that play, not that time. Brian Little stacking a nice pot.
Yeah, this young man from the Winners Club was the shortest stack at the table 6 ways, and now chip leader.
Wow, from the cellar to the dweller in the attic is Brian Little suddenly at 150,000.
This is the kind of hand, you wonder if he's considering the all-in. He's only got 64,000.
Raise to 13,000.
But does he like to give
Pass.
himself as many options
Pass.
as possible?
Pass.
Absolutely, and that does answer your question. He doesn't move in. He makes it 13,000, a little bit more than 3 times the big blind. And once again,
Come on.
an opponent
raised all in?
faces a hand, ace-10, and you got to wonder if this is the moment where Roland says, you know, I can't take it anymore. I've got to put my chips in and gamble and not continue to bleed them off.
Tim Flanders with the instantaneous all-in.
He does, and that usually shows strength. And I think if Roland realized he was only at a 6-4 disadvantage, he might take this challenge. But the quick all-in and strong posture of his opponent and Tim Flanders might give him cause to fold once again.
He keeps counting. He's finding about 50,000 there, and he's decided to peel off 5 cards. Maybe not a factor is frustration, also the fact that he knows he has to win this thing.
Right, that's exactly right, and he knew that coming in. He knows there's no second place and that you're going to have to gamble at some point. This is the point he's chosen. He's had enough. I'm taking a stand, and that's okay. You've got King Jack, Kenneth James. Will it help him?
It's a matter of life or death for Roland DeWolf. Big pot also for Flanders, who's hit the front or continued the lead with the pocket.
Well,
Flanders
actually,
has kept the lead with the ace on the board, matching the 1 in his hand.
Ace, King, Jack. Roland DeWolf is going to need a Jack or a King
And
to
the Jack
continue on.
just left town, Kenna. That's 6.